Alright everyone, welcome back to Santa Teaches Studios. Today we are going to start seeds. I've got my peppers and tomato plants to start. We're actually growing 17 different varieties of tomatoes this year. I haven't been growing them for a while. I want to try multiple varieties of tomatoes and see which ones I like, because there's a lot of new stuff out there. I'm growing mostly heirlooms. The same with the pepper plants. I'm growing 14 different varieties of peppers, some hot, a lot of sweet ones. A lot of them are chilies, so I can get the dried chilies out of them is what I'm going for. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to load up. I've already made my seed starting mix. And then we're going to go ahead and load up our trays. I've got two different styles of trays. I've got a 72 cell and a 50 cell. So I have different options that I can use for the amount of plants that I want to start. So here's one of the trays. Basically, we're just going to go down in, fill the entire thing over, give it a little shake. We lost some there. And then just smooth the top out. So we're getting it completely smooth. This actually has an arrowroot trimming on its pan. I've never used these before, so this will be something new for me. We'll go into a tray. And that'll be that one. And then we do basically the same thing for the 50 cell. Get it in, get it filled up. Go ahead and got it filled. We'll go ahead and smooth it off. I don't really want to tamp it down at this point. What I'm going to do is, before I plant the seeds, I'll go ahead and tamp them down slightly so it'll give me a little bit of room in the top. And then that way, when I put the seeds in, it'll give me room to go back over top of it with a little bit of soil to cover the seeds up. So there we are. We've got our 50 cell done. Get it in a pan. And then we're all set. Let's go inside and plant some seeds. Alright, we are back to get these seeds started. We've got the containers all set up and ready to run. Got actually 3 different ways that I've planted seeds this year. I've used these type of containers. This is a 50 cell. I've got a 72 cell that we also filled a little bit earlier. I have these Jiffy 42 millimeter peat cells that go in here. I have the 72 cell Jiffy that uses the 1020 size, and it actually uses the smaller peat cell. So we're going to go ahead and get them ready. I actually have 13 different tomato varieties I'm planting. Basically, I'm going to do 10 plants of each one. The idea is that I probably only need 4 or 5 of each one in the garden to get where I'm going. This is kind of my trial year, so I'm going to plant multiple different varieties. Weed it down to some of the ones that I like the best. The only ones that I really have grown before are these mortgage lifters. My family actually used to call them mortgage busters, but it's something my grandfather grew, and I saved seeds for a long time. I've lost all my seeds when I moved to North Carolina about 12 years ago. If something happened to them. I didn't have a garden when I first moved down, so I've lost all my seeds, and I'm slowly getting them back. This pretty much looks like it's going to be the same tomato. We'll just see how it comes out, and it's always been a family favorite. So we're going to do them. We're going to get them started. I'll walk you through that. We'll go ahead, and once we've got them all done, we've already pre-moistened all the cells, so they're ready to go. I do have a little extra seed starting mix that once I get them done, because I've compressed the top of it a little bit, of each cell a little bit, so that'll be the depth that the seeds are planted at, and I can come back in with that little bit of seed starting mix over top to just cover them up and then make sure I've got good contact with the soil. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm going to start out with the mortgage lifter. We'll get them in there. Basically what I use is a chopstick, because I can get a little spot there, cover up whatever I need. And actually, once I put the seeds in the palm of my hand, if I go ahead and get the tip of it wet, I can actually pick up 1 or 2 seeds. Go ahead and drop them down. I am overseeding to make sure that I get enough germination. That's no problem. So if I get more than 1 plant, I can just take and pull it. Call the other one if you want. I don't remember if I got that one or not. So basically I'll just work my way down, get everything in. So while I'm doing this, the only other thing that we need to make sure that we do is make sure we mark each one of them as we go. So each row will be marked all the way down. I'm going to use just 1 row, will be 1 plant, so that'll give me 10 plants. Will I use all 10 plants? If they all come up, they all stay good, I'll probably give them away to neighbors. Somebody in the neighborhood will need them. And we'll go from there. Usually if I do that, then I'll end up with some eggs from somebody that has eggs or just whatever it is. I don't mind doing it. Now, I do have a couple seed packets that have only got 10 seeds on them, and evidently they're hard to get. So with those, I won't overseed the cell. So let me go ahead and I'll get these done, and we'll come back before I go to the next cell, because I'm going to go ahead and do the peat cells, and then I'll show you how we do those. So just hold on, and we'll get these done, and then we'll go from there. All right, so we did get them all done. All the seeds are in here. I'm going to cover up with some more seed starter mix. Just going to lightly brush it in. So I do have them all marked. Seed companies that I use. Pretty much anymore I use Burpees, Parks, Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, Southern Seed Savers. I use those. I did use a company called Heirloom Tomatoes to get some specialty tomatoes that I was looking for. Those actually came off Amazon, and they did a great job getting the seeds to me. I really just had a good luck with seeds from pretty much everybody. Where else did I get some seeds? A place called M.I. Gardener. He's actually a YouTuber that he actually does a lot of videos, but he also has a garden center that he sells seeds through, and they're actually seem to be a fairly good place. He actually does a lot of heirloom seeds. All right, so that looks pretty good. Just kind of tap everything down. Get good contact with the seeds. Not really pushing hard. I just want to make sure that the seeds have contact with the soil that I put on top. I want the seeds to come up as easy as possible, so I don't want to really pack them down tight. That pretty much does it. We're done for those. I do have them all marked. You can see. Actually, in this thing, I've got a Mortgage Lifter, a Brandywine, a Cherokee Purple, which is my wife's favorite, German Johnson, I've never grown that, a Kellogg's Breakfast, I've never grown that. The other 3 I have grown. And like I said, we pretty much like each of the 3 that we have grown. I'm interested to try the other 2. Like I say, I've actually got 13 total that I'm going to plant today, or get the seed started today. So I am just going to give them a light watering to settle them in. Like I say, the seed starting mix was already wet, so it didn't have any issues. And then I will get them covered up, and I'll get them upstairs and put them on the heat mat upstairs. And the only south-facing window we can really work at. Here in the kitchen, we do have another south-facing window, but if you've seen from earlier in the video, my wife's got her plants there, so I can't use it to start my seeds. All right, so next, we're going to use the peat pods. And they're kind of nice because they're already here. They pretty much are, everything's there. And with those, I'm just going to make sure they actually have a hole in the middle. And because I did water them, just so they had a time to hydrate real good, I did use a hot water. So make sure if there's anything that might be living in there, they'll be gone. We won't have them in the house. So I'll create the holes. I'll dump the seeds in as we go. I'll make sure I mark them again. And I'm actually going to do 10 and 10. And I do have another one over here, so half of this will be one tomato. One row of this will be one tomato, and then another row and the other one will be the same tomato. We'll go ahead and get these done. Now, all of these tomatoes are indeterminate. They will grow the entire season. They can get tall. I've actually got 8-foot posts out there that I can grow them to up strings. I did start about 4 weeks ago 5 determinate tomatoes that I'll actually be putting into grow bags, and those will be my early tomatoes, and we'll go through those when I get ready to put them in a pot. I've got about 2 weeks, and then I'm going to repot them and put them out into the greenhouse, and those will be my early tomatoes that I get going, because they are determinate. They generally 50 to 60 days. They're only going to grow so tall. Most of them are 24 to 36 inches tall, and that's all the taller they're going to get. And then they're just going to put fruits on. By being in the grow bags, if we do get a really good cold snap, I can pull them and put them into the greenhouse to protect them, and then pull them right back out and go right back out to the garden. Actually, we'll be on the outside edges of my garden in the bags, and we'll go from there. So let me go ahead and I'll get these other 2 containers up and planted, and then we'll go up and get them on the heat mat, put the humidity domes on them, and let them get started so we can have our seeds. They should be about 2 weeks at the most for them to get germinated. Once they germinate, we'll get them up and get them underneath the grow lights. So let me go ahead and get these done, and then we'll get back with you. All right, we got all the seeds planted. Got the humidity domes on. I'll get the humidity dome on this one and this one. I do have the heat mat with controls. Got to set to a medium-high temperature. We'll get them running. Got my sweet potatoes over here, trying to get sweet potato slips. They're not doing anything yet, but I've only had them in there for 3 or 4 days. So we'll come back in 2 to 4 weeks, see how they're doing. Hopefully by 4 weeks I can repot them. Hey, so if you like our videos, select like and subscribe, and you'll always get all of our new videos as they come out. If not for you, who else would we make these for? So, thanks a lot again, and have a great day.